morning, everybody. If you could only see the chaos that is our morning. Hi, everybody. Eric, you want to say hi?
Hi.
So, you noticed last week we had...
I don't feel good.
Now it came up to you. Say it again.
Okay, I don't feel good.
Eric does not feel good.
No, it's the chaos. I'm sorry for the break. It's not really breaking news. I'm having a hard day. But like literally, I was diving for the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm like, I forgot to turn the sound up because literally we were working until 8:58 when we started the countdown, and Amy's got 2 clients texting her, and so it. But hi, nice to see you.
Good
Go
morning.
back to yourself and have a good day.
Yeah, no, it's so Eric has. First of all, he's just run himself ragged, and I'm kind of there with him. Although I think I went to sleep the other night at like 6 o'clock, and I had to. It was like my body said you don't have a choice, but I was allowed to because it was like a weekend or something, and there was nothing. I was allowed to because there wasn't anything pressing happening like on a Saturday evening at 6 p.m. But
Please, sir.
Please, can I sleep? But Eric went. He did that Iowa and where else did you go? Iowa and Idaho, like week before last. So he was gone. It was a lot of travel, a lot of crazy stuff. So he was tired from that, and then he came back this time, and he drove to Miami and stayed the night there, which we'll talk about why in a minute. Picking up our postcards again. But he's just exhausted, like truly, truly, truly tired. I felt so bad yesterday. He did an open house at one of the listings and then came back and Sunday drive, working on editing that, and then getting ready for coffee time this morning with you all, beautiful people. And but I could tell yesterday he's like, I just need to go lay down for a few minutes. And so he laid down and he goes, wake me up at 6. And at like 4:30 he came back in the room. He's like, I can't. I'm gonna try to work. So then he tried to work, and then he's like, I can't work. I have to go back to sleep. So last night I slept in the media room because he went to sleep, and I was like, he needs a good solid night's sleep without the dogs in the bed, without anything happening. So
the show is good. I think the show is good. But we try to put on a show, and so we have little segments and things. But I'm muted again. So we try to do little segments and things. We have some good stuff today, but know that underneath it all,
he feels like doo-doo.
I'm actually fine right now, but I just got a little stomach thing and I got a little tired thing. I don't know, it's a thing. So
it's a thing.
Goodbye.
It's a thing. I like your JMU.
Thanks.
I'm wearing my purple too.
Our boys going away to school soon?
Woo-hoo. All right. Anyway, so good morning, my friends. Thank you guys for joining. I am so sorry. So again, when we sit in this particular situation, I'm using Eric's computer and not mine. So are you the kind of person where your keypad is like yours? It fits like your shoe, right? So when you're on somebody else's, it just doesn't feel right. So I was having a really hard time trying to say hello and good morning to each of you individually like I try to do. So what I'll do is I'm going to see if I can I scroll through this, honey? Yes, I can. See, again, he takes 2 fingers and it has to slide down. And so good morning, Marcia, Susie Q, Pam, Elizabeth, Gary, Kathleen, Kim, Pickles, I love it, Lala, or Allie, Tracy, Martin, Beth, Richard, Quentin, Rhonda, Sydney. Happy birthday, Sydney. Did I hear it's your birthday? Did I hear somebody say it's your birthday? Martin, we got Lisa, Jane B. What are you doing, Jane B? You're supposed to be at Universal. I'm going to give you a big shout out here later. Jane B is here on holiday from the UK. Texted me the other day, and it just, honestly, my heart just gets so excited. Okay, I'll just do that. So welcome to Florida, Jane B. So we're giving you a special shout out this morning, sweetheart. We're so excited that you are here. She was telling me a story about how they got locked out of their, either their hotel or their Airbnb or something, and they had to call a locksmith, and poor things had a time already. But good morning, Denise and Michelle, Sydney again, Sharon, Diz Deb. Did I get everybody? Diz Deb is in her new house. Yes. I think, Rob, good morning, Rob. Geraint and Diz Deb, did I already see that one? I think I got everybody. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining in. Real quick, so my mug of the day, Kathleen, so we have our cute little Mickey, you're on mute mug. I think this is adorable. So this one actually has water in it today because I have to tell you, so I am back on a medication that makes me feel queasy too. So Eric and I are kind of on the same thing, and we both it just kind of makes you not want to eat, and just everything tastes different. So coffee, I am sad to say, does not taste the same. So yeah, so I'm just kind of like, well, I had a little bit this morning. I was like, it's just not going to sit well, so I'm going to skip the coffee. So I have my cute little Disney mug filled with water because all of a sudden I started coughing randomly, and then of course I always have my standby. So my apologies. Okay, so good morning, everybody. So first of all, thanks for joining us again. We appreciate it so much. We have a lot to talk about, some good information. This past week, so many things have happened in real estate in situations that we are involved in, whether it's, a buyer that we have or a seller that we have or a whatever. And we're like, we should talk about that in coffee time. So we have a lot of really good things to kind of share with you. So with that, I'll stop yakking and let's go ahead and get started on what's brewing. Okay, so our three topics today are third-party problems, back to school, and Tony Bennett. So we have the first one, the third-party problems. When I say third-party problems, what I'm referencing are those third-party sites that many of us may reference. If you're not a real estate agent, then you don't have access to the actual MLS, the multiple listing service that realtors use. And it is the actual brain of transactional real estate. So if you have a listing, if you have a home that goes pending, if it sells, that is done directly through the real estate brain, which is the MLS. And that is done directly by the realtor, whether it's the buyer agent or the seller agent, entering in their information. That information then can be swept and read by those third-party sites like Realtor.com or Zillow or Trulia, any of those third-party sites. There is nothing wrong with the third-party sites if you are an average person and you don't have access to the MLS and you're curious and you're doing your research and you're trying to do some preliminary, research, whatever. That's completely fine. That's not a problem. However, there are a few pitfalls and you need to be aware of them. And I say this because literally this week, these things have been happening. And so I like to share them. So the first one, so you want me to hit the button because you went back to the where'd you go? Where is it? Right there. Third party pitfalls. Okay. So this is just an example. So this is the first place I'm going to go. So this is Zillow. Nothing wrong with Zillow. Again, I know people, I'm probably the only realtor that says, I won't say there's nothing wrong with it. If you are just looking for basic information, if you are gathering info, that's fine. If you are actively in a home search, you cannot rely on this. This is where you need to go, okay, hold on, let me step back a little bit and figure out what I'm actually doing here. Okay, so this is my listing. If you look at this on the MLS, 755-990 gives you some general information on it. And then it has a little calendar, request a tour, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Your personal guides. Do you see the personal guides little section with the three, I'm sure, lovely people's names that pop up? Those people, those agents, again, nothing wrong with this, by the way, they pay Zillow to be placed in this zip code or in that zip code, right? And if you click one of those, a little beacon alert goes out to realtors in that zip code that have paid Zillow, and it'll go, basically whoever gets it fast then can assist you through seeing the home. First of all, there's also nothing wrong with that. My point is you don't always know who you're getting, and someone can be purchasing a zip code. I can purchase a zip code. I can pay money for a zip code that I know nothing about. And I think that that's really important because you want to make sure you have a realtor. Bye, boo. You want to make sure you have a realtor that is familiar at least with the area that you're looking at. So those three people, again, nothing wrong with them. I'm not criticizing anyone who does this, okay? So please understand that. What I'm saying is look down further where it says listing provided by Amy Kidwell, 407-848-8042, preferred real estate.
It's tiny on there, by the way.
It's tiny. I'm actually the listing agent. That is actually my listing. Those are actually my clients. So if you want to, if you don't live in Florida or near me, and if you're looking elsewhere, please make sure you do yourself a big favor. And first of all, this is the big thing. If you are working with a realtor as your buyer agent, then you need to not be contacting anybody except your realtor. And you need to say, hey, saw this listing on Zillow. Can you maybe look into it for me and get some info and maybe set up a showing? That's what you need to do if you have a buyer agent. If you do not have a buyer agent and you're just looking yourself and you are ready to move forward on something, then I suggest wholeheartedly that you try to find where it says listing presented by the actual listing agent and reach out to that person, because they're going to actually know that property. They're going to be able to provide you that information that you have. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because twice this past week, I have had people call me asking about a listing, which of course you're happy to provide. Absolutely happy to provide. And they did call the actual listing agent, which was fantastic. But, when I asked them if they want to schedule a show, they're asking like some in-depth questions. And then I'm like, do you want me to set up a showing for you? Because at this point, I'm assuming they don't have a realtor, because why would they have called me? And they're like, well, we already have an agent that we're working with, which is totally fine. But then you need to be communicating with your agent. And I think that's very, very, very important. Each agent has a duty to their client, whether it is the listing agent, to the seller, or whether it is the buyer agent to the buyer. It's very, very important that you understand that relationship, I guess, and that relationship protocol and etiquette in some aspects, because it really is important. If you have an agent that is working for you, first of all, it's okay to still be looking on Zillow. But first of all, if you have an agent that is working for you, ask them to set you up on a property search through the MLS. So the thing that we haven't really talked about with the third-party sites is, again, they're fine, not criticizing, but their information is not immediate real time. It can be very close, but sometimes there's a situation where even an hour makes a difference in a home. And when you see many, many, many times, I'll have clients go, hey, there's this home I found on Zillow, and they send me that. And then I look at it on the MLS and it's pending, but Zillow still shows that it is active. Again, no criticism. All I'm saying is that the information could be slightly delayed, and that delay is not beneficial. So your best bet is to reach out to your buyer agent or get a buyer agent and have them set you up on a property search through the MLS. And then that way you will be alerted the moment, and I mean the moment, not the moment that Zillow or Trulia sweeps the info, but the moment that information is noted in the MLS. As soon as a realtor hits active on a listing that they have that meets your criteria, boom, it's going to go straight to you, assuming your realtor has set you up on a property search that way. So anyway, so that was one piece of it. I just think that's kind of important to note, because it happened twice, where they're calling, you out there are calling the listing agent directly, but you actually have a buyer agent working for you. That communication really does need to come through your realtor, is really what my point is. Not that we don't love you, we don't want to talk to you, but we have a duty, and we're supposed to, to speak to our respective client. And I am happy to provide whatever information you need. Happy. But please make sure you're communicating that with your agent, because they need to be involved in the process. Did you have something you wanted to say?
I did.
Good, because I need a sip.
Okay. So the main thing is, when you're looking for a home, we want you, and I mean, we love it when people call us and have you represent. That's great. But the point is, and the basic point of our entire business, and the reason we're set up, is to make sure that you have a clear path and smooth sailing. And what we always say is, buy a home, don't get sold a home. And so much of this third-party stuff is set up to sell you. Does that make sense? Like, I'm asking you, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense.
In other words, if you're clicking on a button that's like, this person can give you a tour. Well, they really want you to buy that house, because then that way they're your buyer agent all of a sudden. And they sort of picked you because they paid some money to get up on that site to say, hey, I'll show you this house. I always think you should just have a buyer agent anyway. But my point is, don't get sold, buy something. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
Well, and you know what? This wasn't really on this topic, but I think that whole getting sold thing leads to another conversation. Should I go into that one?
That's today's word. So you.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, then I'll wait for today's word. I'll wait for that. But yeah, I mean, and again, please do not misunderstand me. This is what I tell my clients when they are actively looking. If you are actively looking, you are ready, you are prepped, you are trying to find your home, not just a home out there. What are things looking like? What are they selling for? How long are they lasting? Not info gathering, but actual real homes that could be yours. Make sure that you are set up on a property search. I'll set you up on the property search if you're, here. And then if there is a property that you really, really like, and you're just like, I just can't really navigate this as well as Zillow or as well as Trulia or as well as Realtor.com, because I look on those sites all the time. So I know how to manipulate that site. I know how to look for the info that I'm looking for. Totally understand, right? Then take the address that I have given you through the MLS and then punch it into the other site and then track it the way you like to track it. The main thing is to make sure you're getting the immediate information as quickly as possible, because it really, really, really is sad. And it just happened again the other day. Somebody sent me a list of homes that they wanted to see, and then one of them was pending, and they're like, but it's active. I'm like, but it's not, it's pending. So anyway, so that was our third party pitfall. So Rob, I love you as like I'm looking at your where is it? Because Rob's commenting so much, I love it. Where'd you go, Rob? Yeah. Anyway, he just said, oh yeah, here it is. It's very rude to talk to other agents when you have your own agent. You're wasting everyone's time. So it's
not rude.
Well, so like for instance, yesterday Eric was doing this open house, and it was for our listing. And another reason he probably just doesn't feel so good. He's just so stinking exhausted. But he said he was there. You know, an agent came in with her client, and her client had a lot of questions, but the agent didn't. It was a new agent, and again, it's okay. We're all new at some point, so this is not a criticism. But that agent didn't really know anything about the area, the location. She didn't even know what kind of floors they were. Like, she just really didn't know a lot. So Eric, you know, sat there for 30 minutes and gave her info after info after info on the property. So in that case, it was totally okay for Eric to be speaking. It just kind of goes to show you that not all agents are created equal. Yes, sir?
Well, and my point is, I spoke to the client referencing your agent can take you, and because we don't do that,
right?
So if you pick an agent, that's your agent.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Allie has a question about that later today. So
this
is it's all coming together.
Together.
But we don't do that. So I actually talked to that person for about a half an hour, and she's like, "Thank you for all this information," but like I sort of was always trying to say, well, and this is, you know, and your agent can take you to that community if you're interested in that. You know, that kind of thing, because we don't do that. So the point is, pick the right one the first time, right? But then also, you know, when we talk to you, we have to sort of then say, well, your agent needs to set up a showing. And sometimes people are like, well, why can't you set up the showing? Well, because that's your agent. That's right. How that works.
And that actually, again, in these same conversations that has prompted this as one of our topics today, that is exactly what happened. Someone reached out, had a question about one of our listings. He's like, how can I see the property? And I'm like, well, you said you have a realtor, then ask your realtor to set up a showing. It's like, now I can show the property, but you have an agent. Your agent should have reached out. Your agent should have found this property. Your agent should be scheduling the showing, and your agent should be the one asking the questions. That's what your agent is for, and that's part of why they receive a commission. And so for you to find me through Zillow, for me to provide you all of the answers, for me to show you the home, what has your buyer agent done for you? And those are some real estate little nuances that can be frustrating. But ultimately, we want the home to be sold, but we also want to educate you, because that's what most of you are here for, right? You want to learn, you want to find out what's going on. So there's just some etiquette and some protocol when it comes to that. So if you are looking on those third-party sites, and if there is a home that you are super interested in, first step is to reach out to your agent and ask them, hey, I stumbled on this property, really like it. Is there anything you can find out for me? Can you schedule a showing? And other than that, you know, I think we're good. So let's move on to our second topic, which is, where's Brewful? It is right here. Back to school. So can you believe, by the way, I cannot believe, when Eric said this, I had a little emotional moment, like, after the Sunday drive was over. So if you didn't watch our Sunday drive yesterday, first of all, you should watch it because it was a lot of fun. It was like a lot of fun to do too. But Eric had said, he goes, school starts in 2 weeks. And I'm like, 2 weeks? Like, it is still like midsummer for most people. Like, some people just got out of school like 2 weeks ago, you know?
2 weeks from today.
It's 2 weeks from today. Yeah, we start August 10th. Is that right?
Yep.
That's what our public schools here.
Maybe that's not Monday.
I don't know. Well, at any rate, we start in a couple weeks. Which is crazy. Obviously, we know colleges are going to be starting back, and all of that seems a little bit more correct in the timeline. But the academic schools, like just regular public schools, it's just craziness. So Anyway, so
it's 2 weeks from Thursday, just to be accurate.
All right, just to be accurate, 2 weeks from Thursday, because we do like to be as correct as we can be. Good job, babe. All right, so we have, because it is back to school, so these are the new postcards. Last time we showed you the one that had the filigree coffee house little thingy on there. So we have this one, a little back to school. You see me, you see the school bus. On the back side of it, we have, what do we have on the back side? We have this, which is really...
Don't scan that QR code yet. It's not.
Oh.
If you're watching, the QR code leads you to a blank page at the moment.
Anyway, so we have a little bit of the schedule up here, over here. Gosh, I cannot be a weatherman. Jeez, I have to do this way. That, and then this is something we're really excited about right here. $1,000 scholarship. So we are, Heart and Home Orlando, we are going to contribute a $1,000 scholarship to juniors and seniors here in Horizon High School. Is that what it is? Horizon High School, Rising Junior or Senior. So we're going to try to help everybody start off properly. And anyway, so...
Hold on, clarification.
Wait, hold on.
Clarification. Someone could have interpreted what you just said as we're giving $1,000 to every rising junior and senior.
Oh, no.
It's one scholarship.
No, it's an essay contest.
Yeah. I just want to be clear.
No. Yep,
We're not,
correct.
I'm going to overpromise there.
No.
Michael Scott, we're going to send you all out.
No. A $1,000 scholarship. And yes, there's a little, they have to write an essay about why they love living here in Disney's backyard. But I think that's going to be great. We really love being so deeply embedded in the community. And speaking of that, this is part of what the Sunday Drive was. These adorable logos. We did a school mascot draft on Coffee Time. So if you didn't see it, please watch it because it was a lot of fun. This is the other one.
No, it's not the other one. That's the same one.
Is it the same one? Okay.
There's two.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but show them the mascots.
I am going to show them the mascot. I was getting there. You're rushing me. So anyway, so Sunday Drive. So yes, you can see the, just watch that and then it'll make a little bit more sense. But then here are how we ended up drafting the elementary schools. So I drafted Team Amy are the Hamlin Huskies, the Water Spring Otters, and the Panther Cubs or Panthers? Panthers, okay. So that's my team. So Eric's team in the draft were the Independence Eagles. I was a little miffed because I went to Independence Junior High School in Virginia Beach, Virginia, which is now Independence Middle School, but that's where I went. And I too was an Eagle. So I kind of was going to pick them, but he snatched them. Anyway, Independence Eagles, the Summer Lake Gators, and the Keens Crossing Cougars. So those are our teams. So just to continue the fun, first of all, the whole point of this is that we are in love with their mascot logos, that the artwork, the graphic design, just the concept is absolutely so adorable, so on brand to be here in Disney's backyard. They're just adorable. So we thought it would be fun for us to do this little draft. So now we have to determine if we're going to do an Eric and Amy head-to-head and have you guys vote for Team Amy or Team Eric, and then if we're going to, or if we're just going to vote for the favorite one. So we're going to have this probably on Instagram, right? Is that what we're doing? Instagram voting for the favorite logo, and whichever one wins is going to have a $500 contribution to their PTSO from Heart and Home Orlando. So again, we are trying to give back and love our community because you guys are so sweet. We appreciate you. So,
question before you go.
Yeah.
Florida.
I saw that one. I did see that one. I saw.
You can type your key if you want.
I saw this one. Let me go back to here and then let me go here. Okay. So if a house is listed and sells immediately, was it priced too low? I don't think so. I think that when a home is priced correctly, it's going to go pretty quickly. It's the ones that are priced higher that are going to take a little bit longer. And the other thing too is, you don't always know the situation. Like, sometimes, like for instance, I had someone the day that I put a home on the market, the one that we showed you earlier, there was someone who called immediately. I have clients live in the neighborhood. They want to move in the house. They love it, blah, blah, blah. We're going to submit an offer. Fantastic. So that doesn't mean that it was priced too low. It just means that it was priced right at the right time in the right community and there was the right buyer. It can mean it was priced too low, but I don't really think, realtors tend to not price too low. If anything, realtors are going the opposite direction and still pricing too high. We tend to price, within the realm of our sweet spot, right? Where we can get the maximum amount for the home without worrying about whether or not the appraisal could come into play. And I think that's really important. So that's a really good question, though.
I'm bringing you something on. Stick with us for a second.
Stick with us. He's bringing me something.
Well, I'm gonna bring you something in a minute because I'm printing it.
Oh.
The idea of the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to show you a page of what we call the home pulse,
yes.
which is something we do if you're looking to sell your home. I mean, we dig into this thing. You know, Forrest, who works with us and for us and has known us for a while because he's our son, but he's also a data analyst. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we go over these numbers hard, and we do something. The sweet spot is something we talk about, which shows you the most eyeballs on a property. If you price it right, you get the most eyeballs at the right price. If you price it low, you'll get more people looking at it, but that's how you give it away. So it's a great question. So I'm going to go away and get you that piece of paper, and then you can show them.
Yeah. The home pulse is amazing. Honestly, I think that is something we are most proud of because it really is a blend of my brain and Eric's brain. He took my pictures and printed it, and this is a page of what we provide to clients for their home pulse. Oh, it's doing that thing again, but
yeah,
it's okay.
But it's this chart really is the one
it's really this bottom section, this little chart here. We talk about, and it really is the deep data dive that we always talk about. So it's going to show you that sweet spot of, here we have no issues. It's going to, it should sell quickly and easily and no appraisal issues. Up here is likely to still be able to sell at that price, could potentially have, we just have to be aware of the appraisal price. But that's really, really helpful. And I think when people see things with that much data from that many different directions, it really makes them feel not only confident in what we're telling them, but we have the proof to back it up, right? Does that make sense? Are you going to show it to him there?
I'm going to show it to him here because...
Okay, he's going to show it to you.
I think. How's that? Is that on there?
Nope.
No?
No.
What happened?
I don't know. I've got a big black thing over my head. Oh, you switched to this or something.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, well, never mind. But now we're back, right?
No. Now I have a big black thing over my head.
We should be back.
Well, we're not.
Okay.
I'll just go this way here. There we go. Now we're good now. That was just a little bit of the camera that was dangling over.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, well, whatever. It's good. It's cool. It's awesome.
And if you want to list your house, we'll get you your own home pulse. And it makes a lot of sense.
Rob has asked if that way overpriced home has sold or dropped its price.
They didn't drop their price.
Drop the price.
So now they dropped the price $50,000. Now they're overpriced by $450,000.
So they dropped it by $50,000, but now they're overpriced by $400,000. So yeah. Kim, you're very cute. What is the paint color behind you? It is Sherwin-Williams Agreeable Gray. If you are, that's what our whole house is. When we first bought the house, the builders put the bleh color in the wall on the walls, and the very first thing we did was have a painter come and paint the entire home on the inside. And we just wanted a neutral color because we knew that eventually we would do different things to the walls, but we want. Okay. He has to let the dog out. So sorry. Go on, Penny. Outside. Go potty.
Lord.
This is our life, guys. But yeah, so we had a painter come in and paint everything agreeable gray so that it was a nice neutral color. It also had another fresh paint of coat on it. Coat of paint is what I meant to say on it. So agreeable gray, Sherwin-Williams. It's super common. Everybody has it. But it's really nice because it can also, it can pull out grays and it can pull out tans and creams and stuff. So it's super, super, super neutral. So anyway, all right, so let me go back to this. All right, so let's move on to, what should we do next? Should we?
Back to What's Brewing.
To the What's Brewing. Yeah, so I have one more What's Brewing. So the other What's Brewing is Tony Bennett, because Tony Bennett passed away, guys. That is really, really, really devastating. So we're going to tell you a little story about him here in a minute, but let's take a little,
No, first tell the story.
You want me to tell the story first? Okay. So, all right. So first of all, you know who Tony Bennett is, right? But look in the lower right-hand corner. This is a gentleman named Paul Probst. Now, Paul Probst used to be the manager of the Count Basie Orchestra. And this is a true story, guys. And I'm going to get chilly bumps right now, even just thinking about it, because, this is why I love people. You never know who you're going to meet, where you're going to meet them, when you're going to meet them, how they're going to change your lives, how they're going to affect you. And it was a very crazy happenstance. So I'm going to try to make the story short. Try. So when I had my dance studio in Virginia, I used to take my older girls, my senior companies that had the high heel character shoes, to a specific shoe repair, because the specific shoe repair had doesn't really matter, but I took them there because they were the ones that had the special grippers that needed to be done on the bottom. So I walk into this shoe repair. It's a little mom and pop shoe repair too, like really tiny little place. Reminded me of like my dad's print shop, just, all authentic, just one guy and his tools, Anyway, went there, took my box of shoes, pulled the shoes out, was telling, the shoe repair guy what to do. And there's this cute little old man sitting over in the side eating a Hardee's burger. And he's just sitting there in a chair, just sitting there talking to the guy, just chit-chatting back and forth. Finally, the shoe repair guy goes, Amy, you know who that is, don't you? And I said, no, I am so sorry. I don't know who that is. He goes, that's Mr. Shea. And I'm like, I don't know who Mr. Shea is. He goes, that's Mr. Shea. He goes, and then he basically
Shea Paul, baby.
Shea Paul, baby. So Shea Paul was again the band manager of Count Basie Orchestra, and it was such a treasure meeting him. So anyway, so of course I was very excited and honored to meet him, and super excited. He's an older gentleman, and told him what I did, and he was all excited. And so from that point on, we kind of adopted him into our family. He used to come to my dance studio. He would come earlier for the first couple classes. He'd sit in the corner and watch, because it'd be the little kids, and they were always so cute. And I use a lot of big band music, even if it was just like remade versions of it. He just loved the music. He loved to see the life and the light in those kids' eyes. I'll never forget, he drove this big, massive red car. He would always bring me a Hardee's iced tea and 20 straws. Like, I don't know why. I only needed one straw, but I had an entire drawer at the end of the year just filled with Hardee's straws. Anyway,
I'm just gonna this is Amy's attempt to make it a shorter story. No, I love the story.
You just made it longer because you interrupted.
No, I understand. No, I miss Shea. I miss him.
We miss him. So, but here's the thing. So the long and short of it is that Mr. Shea became a very, very important part of our family. We adopted him in. We spent holidays with him. We purchased gifts for him. He purchased gifts for our kids. I set him up with a VCR. And we're going to get to the Tony Bennett thing. But before I get to the Tony Bennett connection, I have to tell you how he got his name Shea. So first of all, Shea, you noticed in that picture, it was S-H-A-Y, right? But the truth is it was, oh my God.
C-H-E-Z.
It was C-H-E-Z, because Ella Fitzgerald, my friends, Ella Fitzgerald herself, by the way, you have to keep in mind that generationally, he would hang out with these people. Sammy Davis Jr., Ella Fitzgerald, who else? Obviously Basie, Tony Bennett, all of them, all of those people, all of that crew, they would all knew each other. They all hung out, and they were literally hanging out at, I think it was Ella Fitzgerald's house or something, and there was by a pool. I have pictures of this. And she said, let's go to Shea Paul's, meaning Shea as in the French term, the home of. So C-H-E-Z Paul, but it all kind of evolved into Shea Paul. And so anyway, so that's how Shea got his name. But here's the coolest thing. Okay, so now we're getting to the Tony Bennett part. So Tony Bennett, there was a theater at Christopher Newport University. Again, the Ferguson Center. And they had multiple theaters. And one of them was this small concert theater. And it was very small, acoustically off the chart amazing. And Tony Bennett was opening that theater. Now keep in mind, this is like right down the street from us. This is where we held our dance recitals, right? In the bigger theater, but this was a smaller one. So anyway, I told Shea Paul one day, I said, Mr. Shea, guess what? Tony Bennett is open. I kid you not, guys. I am kidding you not. I'm in his little tiny apartment. And I said, Mr. Shea, guess what? Did you know that Tony Bennett is opening up the theater down at CNU, like whenever? And he goes, get out, So it's Mr. Shea. So guys, I'm not kidding. He gets on his phone and calls Tony Bennett, not Tony Bennett's people. He called Tony Bennett, and he got backstage passes, and I'm getting shivers. And so Eric and I took Mr. Shea, because again, he's an older gentleman. Eric and I took Mr. Shea to go see Tony Bennett opening up live in this amazing theater, and then we got to go backstage afterwards. And I think one of the things that Eric, by the way, Tony Bennett kissed, it was the right cheek. I think it was the right cheek. Tony Bennett kissed my right cheek. But what was really amazing was that obviously the president of the university and all of the, the dignitaries and the politicians were all there too, right? They were all back in the green room. But you could see in Tony Bennett's eyes, he just wanted to go talk to Shea. Didn't he? It was like he just wanted to go and hang out with Mr. Shea and just talk. That was amazing.
The president of the University, Senator Paul Tribble, former Senator Paul Tribble, who like in Newport News, Virginia is a big deal. Yes. He's waiting at the door. Yeah. And you could tell, I mean, he's a lovely man. He wasn't like being pissy about it, but he was getting a little irritated because Tony would not stop talking to Shay.
He just wanted to talk to
it was
his
like brothers
buddy.
Just back together again.
Yeah.
And I mean, because their relationship at that point was 50 years.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and what a surprise, right? He would never have known that Shay was living in Newport News, Virginia, and able to do that. And it's just amazing.
And what you hear about Tony Bennett is, and again, we could talk to you about Shay Paul. Shay Paul, baby. We can talk to you about him forever. But Tony Bennett, what everyone says is what a genuine, nice, sweet, loving man can confirm.
Yes.
Good gracious, what a great guy. You can sing a little bit too.
You can sing a little bit. So speaking of that, do you want me to head to the crunching the numbers?
Yeah, so give an intro for what it is and then hit it.
Okay. So we decided, you mean like the intro, like verbally?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, so on the Tony Bennett part of our What's Brewing, we decided we would have fun with Forrest's crunching the numbers this time. So Forrest is going to talk about a Tony Bennett song, and in lieu of doing that, if he had made an investment and how that might have turned out for him. So let's take a look at crunching the numbers.
Tony Bennett's most famous song is probably I Left My Heart in San Francisco, which hit the charts in 1962. But what if instead of leaving his heart, he bought a house? San Francisco. Let's crunch the numbers. We found a listing for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo that sold for $22,500 in 1962. So Tony could have put his first Grammy on his patio overlooking his swinging swimming pool. And by the time Tony won his next Grammy in 1993, that house would have been worth about $300,000 or 13 times his original investment. That's a lot, but the best was yet to come. Best is yet to come. Where he really would have gone from rags to riches, I know I'd go from rags to riches, would be if he held on to that house until today, where it might have been worth something similar to this 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo that recently sold for about $1.5 million or 67 times his original investment. Let's say you wanted to buy a home today in honor of Tony Bennett. You could buy this home on Bennett Lane in Palm Coast that's currently listed at $390,000. If you held onto it for 61 years and got the same returns, you could sell it on July 24th, 2084 for a total sale of over $26 million. Now, that's not likely, but if you pulled it off, you'd have $1 for every 2 records Tony Bennett sold over the course of his career, and you'd have the world on a string. Got the world on a string. I'm sitting on a rainbow. I've got the string.
Oh my gosh. Like, seriously. So first of all, that's fun, like, right? Those crunching the numbers that's pretty amazing. It's a great, unique way to bring that in. But, oh man, the story of Tony Bennett and the story of Shay Paul, I'm all emotional. So anyway, so I think that whole point, with us just running into randomly meeting such an amazing person that became such an important part of our life, I just think that, give everybody a chance, guys. You never know who you're going to meet. You're never going to know who you hold the door for, who's in front of you in line or who's behind you in line, or he even cuts you off in traffic. Could be someone pretty amazing. So anyway, all right, I'm a little sad now, but I'm going to go back. We're going to keep on talking some real estate. So real quick, I have a couple quick questions. Everyone's asking about the cat. So let me talk about the cat real fast. So Molly is doing very well. We did take her back to her post hospital stay visit on Thursday. They said she's doing remarkably well, and that I don't know where she is right now, but we do still need to do some of the fluid treatments, but we can do those every other day, and then we have to take her back in a month. But still no real understanding of why it happened. We're wondering if maybe she got into something toxic in the backyard. Not the backyard, but in the pool area. Maybe, we don't know. But at any rate, she's doing okay. You're still looking for her. But at any rate, she's doing great. So thank you guys for asking. After this is over, we need to give her a fluid treatment because every other day. And so this morning is the day. So thank you for asking. We're super, super happy that she's back to herself and moving around, and we're happy that she's doing so good. So thank you guys for asking. Okay, so let us move on. I want to scooch on to, what do we want to do next, honey?
You got wishes, you got Allie, you got...
Let's do Allie. We'll do Allie.
What happens if I'm working with a realtor, but I'm not very happy and I want to switch realtors? Do I have any options? How does that work?
That's a good question. So here is, and by the way, this does happen, right? Oftentimes, the communication just isn't there, or the relationship isn't there, or the personalities kind of clash, which is one of the reasons I'm super grateful for all of these opportunities for you to know who exactly Eric and I are, whether it's through our coffee times on Mondays, whether it's through the Sunday drives, or whether it's just me doing the home tours, whatever the case is. You already have a very real understanding of who we are, how we are, what we think, and our knowledge of the area. So in many ways, we've kind of, when I have clients, we've kind of already answered those questions, right? But it can still happen. And it happens to people all over the place. So the reality is, if you are working with a realtor, there is a document that we are supposed to, that you could sign. It's basically, it's an agreement, right? It's an agreement that, hey, I'm going to be your buyer agent, and, that you're mine and I'm yours, and we're going to go through this process together. And I think there's a very good reason to have that document. However, I also think it can be a little off-putting personally, because again, I have this problem with doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I don't know how, even if I knew I liked that person and I knew I wanted them to be my agent, I might feel a little apprehensive about signing something because I don't really know how it's going to be in the end. What if I sign something and then I never hear from them again? Then what, right? So point is, there is a document that can be signed. It is a buyer agent agreement. And some realtors do require that their clients sign that. So if you have signed a buyer agent agreement, that's going to be one conversation I'll have with you in just a minute. If you haven't signed that, like for me personally, I mean, I'm talking to my client. I know that ultimately when we're doing anything that relates to new construction, they've already been registered at some of these communities because I've been reaching out and I'm like, hey, I've got this great client. They're looking for this, da, 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 da. So I know that we're all kind of protected in that regard. But, but when we find the house, there is a there's a buyer broker agreement that is required by my brokerage that has to be signed. And that's just really some disclosures. But I actually don't have people sign that. I probably should, because yes, there have been times where I've been working with someone and then all of a sudden they go to an open house and they get sold. They never told me that they were going to an open house. It had nothing to do with their relationship to me. But then that open house agent kind of, snags them. They didn't ask if they were working with a realtor, and it can all be a problem. But anyway, so there's one aspect of, if you have signed a buyer agreement with your realtor and you are like, okay, I wish I hadn't signed that. Things aren't working out. It's not that binding. So, I mean, it is, but what you do is you just say, hey, look, I really appreciate all the help that you have given me. But I think I'm going to have to, go in a different direction, or I'm going to look in a different area, and I don't know that I'll need your help at this time. Really, whatever you need to do, but you just need to basically have an agreement signed then that you are now canceling your buyer agent agreement with them. Because it does happen. What if you got stuck with somebody that, their personality was not yours, or whatever the case is. It does happen. So you're never truly, truly, truly bound, but you should always make sure that you don't get yourself in that situation by knowing that realtor in advance. Yes, sir?
It's a little bit like dating in that, so we've had people call and say, well, I've been working with this buyer agent, but I'm just not really happy. Can you be my buyer agent? And it's an awkward conversation because it's a little bit like dating. Amy will say, have you broken up with your... So if you haven't had that, even if you're under a signed agreement, then you're under a signed agreement. Yeah. We got to get that. Right. And some buyer agents will waive that, but there's got to be documentation. That's like being married. You sign the paper, you're married. If you're dating, then we just require that you tell them, because it's not right and not fair.
Yeah.
And that can cause problems in the end if the buyer agent comes back and goes, well, no, I showed them that house. You didn't show them that house. It's a whole thing.
Oh, well, go ahead.
It's just, but Amy says we should get people to sign it, and we should accept that we tend to think that it's sort of like serving the president. We serve at the pleasure of the buyer. So if you're not happy working with us, then that's okay. You can just tell us. We're doing our best, and that'll make us sad. But we don't want you to be locked into it, because we're not for everybody, I guess.
Well, but you mentioned something, and I think this is crucial to know. There is something called procuring cause. And that is a very, very, very valid, and I will follow up on a procuring cause, which means, so Eric just kind of threw out there, if this other agent showed you a home, okay, so here's the problem. If your other agent that you now don't want to work with anymore gave you information about a property, got information for you, even maybe showed you the property, that is your realtor. That's the person who deserves that commission. That is the person that has procuring cause through the purchase of that particular home. Now, if that realtor doesn't, if you're done with a realtor and another realtor starts to show you different properties and everything, then that's great. But for instance, I have had clients where, and it's really not that, I had a client actually, I sent information. I got a lot of information from a lot of the builders out here, and they were then registered with me with these builders because, again, when my policy is that, if I'm getting information for you for new construction somewhere, because I want to protect you, first of all, that's what I'm doing. I'm protecting you, I'm protecting me, and then I'm also protecting the site agent who's providing us that information by saying, hey, here's my client's info. If you just want to have them registered that way, if you were to ever walk back in by yourself, they'll know you're protected because you're already in the system. You're protected by me. You're protected by the agent that gave us the information. So, but but then not say that person's like, oh, okay, you know what, never mind, Amy, we're going to go in a different direction. Okay, well, are you going in a different direction geographically, or are you just going to go with a different realtor? Because if you go into a specific community where I've already provided you that information, I have procuring cause. So that's a really long answer to that. So Allie's question is, if you have signed a buyer agent agreement with a realtor and you no longer want to continue with that, you need to approach them and you need to ask them to cancel that buyer agent agreement under whatever terms it is that you decided. Yes, sir.
I just was reminded of a story where you actually, you did everything for these folks. It was actually a friend of a family member of the friend. And at the last minute, they literally went, well, my cousin has their real estate license, so I'm going to give them the commission. And we could have made a stink, but we didn't. That's not to say you shouldn't have made a stink, but just be forthright. That's all we're asking, is that you be forthright with things. But that leads us to the word of the day, Amy, because that leads us into the next story. So I would say, Amy, what's the word? Push that button. I know, push the button.
Oh, now come on, Amy, tell me what's the word.
Okay, fully admitting that's stupid, but I love it.
Yeah, no. It's not stupid. I think that's cute. So the word zinger. Okay, so I don't know why Eric chose this as the word. I know why he chose this as the word. I would have thought more of a real estate term, but I think this is referencing a situation that we had, again, just the other day. We've had a lot of crazy stuff happening this week. And again, like I said at the beginning of this, so much of it that was kind of like, we should talk about that on coffee time. So here is another example of and this one kind of hurts my heart a little bit. So I had this lovely gentleman call me. He and his family are building a home out somewhere in Mineola, and they've been watching our videos forever, right? If you're watching the videos forever, yet you're going out and you're touring without a realtor, or you're going and you're touring without having a realtor at least set you up some appointments, what happened was he went to a community, great community, great builder, nothing wrong with that. Found a floor plan, wanted to build a home there. All of that is great. But what's happening now is when he called, he said, as always, we've been watching you forever. I just found found myself in a situation where we've contracted with the builder, and, I don't really know what the point of the conversation was other than, just kind of, I think a little bit of it's a smidge of buyer's remorse, right? And he, so we just started talking. I was like, well, it's going to be fine. And I said, first of all, I had to say, did you have a realtor help you? And he said, well, no. And here's another thing, just kind of like Eric referenced to the law. He goes, no, I didn't. I was going to have, I don't know what he said, my son's friend who was a realtor, help us, but we had not yet even communicated or been able to catch up. And so when I was there with the builder, they said, well, it's too late. We can't add them to the contract. Well, first of all, why are you adding someone? Why would you want to add someone to a contract who didn't do, who you've never even met yet, right? And I have had clients sign contracts where we have not met yet, but we have communicated and we set up an appointment and we got things prepped and ready and we got that information, and then, so be it. But at any rate, So as we're talking, he's like, yeah, he goes, just kind of what's really the point, of having a realtor, what's the zinger? And so the word he used was zinger. And I was like, that's great. And the point was, what is the zinger? What is the difference of having a realtor assist you through new construction versus not? We've talked about that a lot, but I think one of the things that we can sum it up is by saying, if I had helped, or if a realtor had helped that particular person in their home, exploration journey, and then eventually through finding the right one, you would know that you have a realtor helping you find your home, not just a home. And you have to remember that as much as we love them, the new construction builder sales agents are sales agents. Their job is primarily and only to sell you on their product through their company, with their builder, preferably in their community. There's nothing wrong with that. They're great at that. They are great partners to me when that community fits what it is that you're looking for and what you need. But on your own, you're walking into a sales situation, and sometimes you get sold. Sometimes you get talked into it and you're writing a contract, and part of the realtor's peace of mind, part of the realtor's zinger for you is that peace of mind, so that you don't sign the contract and then all of a sudden go, what did I just do? Was that the right thing for me? Are there other places I should have considered? And I think that is a really, really important thing. I've got some clients that are in town now. Actually, they're heading back. They've been in town several times, and they're very cute because every time they're like, we keep saving and saving and saving, ready to move forward. And by the time we're ready to do that, the prices have gone up. And so we just feel like we're continually like pedaling in place or even pedaling backwards. And that's a very good analogy. So, they're leaving again. We thought we were going to go under contract, and they just did the math, and the math wasn't going to work for them. So they're going to wait again, and we'll try it again. But they're my people. And they even said one day when I was showing them a house, I was opening the door, and they're like, most other realtors would have probably ditched us by now, right? And I'm like, maybe, but not us. Not us, because our job is to help you find your home and help give you that peace of mind that the home that you feel is your home, is right. It's good. You don't have those secondary doubts of, what did I just do? I don't have, I don't have anybody helping me. And you may think that you don't need anybody helping you in new construction, but I really tend to disagree on that one. So at any rate, so that is the word of the day, which is zinger. So point is, all of you that watch these videos, whether it's me or whether it's another agent, it better be me, or if you're just in a different area and it could never be me, do yourself a favor and enlist the help of a realtor before you start going cuckoo crazy. It will really help you. That's why we're here. And yes, I fully understand that we are not all created equal when it comes to real estate agents and how we work. In fact, you didn't do a graphic of that little thing I got, did you?
Oh, no, I didn't.
I got to show you something. Well, anyway, and as the whole we are not created equal, this little tidbit.
Yeah, you don't have to show it. You can just say it.
This little tidbit brought to you by a real life situation happening over the weekend. So this is, again, just goes to knowing your realtor and knowing who it is, by the way, that you have chosen to list your home. So I have some clients on the buyer's end that are purchasing this home over $1 million out in Palm City. So yes, we do work further away than our little nugget here, but they're purchasing a home out there, and there's an issue with like the HOA. First of all, as a listing agent, it is the listing agent's responsibility to provide the HOA disclosure. And in the HOA disclosure, it tells you not only what the HOA fee is and when, whether it's paid monthly or quarterly or annually or whatever, but it also provides you the HOA's contact information, right? Because everyone needs the HOA contact information because there's estoppels and things that need to be done, making sure that that part of the process is prepped and ready when it comes to closing. So this agent did not provide that information on the closing disclosure. And now we're having a problem because the HOA is saying that they need to have an interview, which, by the way, it was marked no, that there is no prior HOA approval required in this particular community. So the listing agent made a boo-boo there. But here's the thing that just gets me, because this is over the weekend, right? This is Saturday and Sunday. I'm still working. My clients are supposed to close on Tuesday. We're getting a little, chaos from the HOA company saying, by the way, the HOA saying, well, it's not my fault if they have a problem at the guard gate, because they haven't done what they're supposed to do. My client's done everything they're supposed to do, but we don't have all the information. So I send the agent a text who has added her assistant in on the text chain, okay? And I said, she said, when are your clients going to do the final walk? Then I said, can you tell me if we're still on to close the 25th or if we're going to have to push it back? Because last we heard there was an issue with the HOA and getting this interview done. And she said, I suggest you reach out to the HOA on your client's behalf. And I said, I would be happy to, but you did not provide the HOA contact information on the HOA disclosure. And then her response was, I'm out on the boat. Call
Google it.
Yeah,
Google.
Google, whatever. And I was like, wow. So that's the response I got from the agent that was in charge of selling $1 million home, trying to make sure that this closes on time. She's more, by the way, not faulting anybody for enjoying their life, because God, I wish I could. But the problem was, I'm out on the boat. Google it. And there's two people on this. Somebody could have said, hey, you know what? We're not available, not near a computer right now. So sorry we missed putting that contact info on there. I'll be happy to get that to you just as soon as I get to my computer. Lots of other ways you could have said that and not been what. But at any rate, so a little frustrated about that one. So that's one of my to-dos right after we finish our coffee time, is to try to weave that out. So
right now your to-do is to do wishes.
I have to do some wishes right now. So wishes. Okay, so Tammy and Hisham finally supposed to be closing on their home today. We had a little bit of an oopsie towards the end. This was their resale home. Should be closing today. Everything should be hunky-dory. Cross fingers. Patrick, congratulations. Should be closing Tuesday on the home out there with the HOA issue. Because we Googled it. And then Brian and Raquel for contracting on their beautiful new home. So we have lots going on, lots of listings, lots more information. We did have the wishes too, but I think we already did that. So we're going to say welcome to Jane.
She left. She went to Universal.
She left. She said she was going to Universal. So everyone, say hi and bye to Jane. We're glad she's here and got here safely and that she's visiting from the UK. That just makes us super happy. So anyway, so there's lots of real estate stuff happening, but we're going to go enjoy and entertain you for a minute and do the Zillow house. You want to do Zillow, or do you have more questions? I have more questions. Yeah. I have more questions. I love questions. Okay, hold on. What do I have? Ooh. So I heard, okay, right. Okay. Yeah. You gave us a tour of your home when you moved in and said you would, again, further down the line, if you had plans to do so in the near future. You know what? I do. It's just, here's the problem.
I know the problem.
It's always too messy. And we're always doing projects. Like, first of all, I have to wait for my son to go off to college so I can finally clean his room. Okay, full disclosure, that's what's got to happen. His studio suite that he has, they call it a studio suite. I'm not trying to be fancy. That's just what it was on the floor plan. So it's like a bedroom with a little wet bar and a little sitting area and a bathroom and everything. So once he goes off to college and I can deep clean that sucker, I will give you a tour. But we still have projects, like we're thinking about doing a fireplace wall over there. We still have some trim treatments we want to do. I ordered some lovely prints for my office and they sent me all of them but one. I'm waiting for that. So it looks a little hodgepodged at the moment. But yes, we are going to share with you. I worry because I don't know what people's expectations are. And it's just us, it's like, we don't have masterpiece design coming in and designing our home. It's just us figuring out a few things to do here and there, but we would love to share that with you guys.
You're pretty good though. You're pretty good.
I'm pretty good, but there's just things, there's things that I know could be done better. And, but yeah, I will share it with you. And it's never a matter of not wanting to. It's really a matter of when is it going to be in the state where we can. That's the key. But anyway, so Kim, any future furniture store recommendations, indoor, outdoor? Yes. So first of all, big fan of Haverty's, big fan of City Furniture. What?
From the kitchen, Amy has undervalued how much she likes Haverty's because I have a story.
Oh,
we got the stool she's sitting on.
I'm in, these right
just came in the other day, and the Haverty's guy goes, "Wow, it's like walking into the Haverty's showroom." So we're good customers. So Haverty's, give us a call. We'd love to have a sponsorship or something.
I know.
Lord.
No, it's funny. It truly, it's funny. Whenever I go to Haverty's, she's like, what phone number? And I never can remember if it's my Virginia phone or my Florida phone that's in their system. I said, it's the one with like a really long list. She's like, and every time they're like, oh my. But anyway, so, but no, I do like Haverty's. I like them very much, and I like them for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're super quick and easy with delivery. The furniture is really good. And I also like that first of all, I'm not a big fan of all those warranties that you have to buy on things, but theirs includes dogs. I have not had any issues with our pets, like chewing and gnawing and doing things like that, but theirs does. So, I always get it just in case. But yeah, so I don't know if you remember, but the last time we did this, I had these blue chairs, which I actually really like. I'm kind of sad that we're not going to use them anymore. But he's bringing one over because I have 4 of them. If anyone wants them, let me know.
Hey, no kidding though.
If you want them,
we got people moving into new houses and stuff.
There's 4 chairs. The problem is they were the kind you have to put together. I ordered them online. It was like they come in sets of 2s, and we have 6 around our island. And because you have to put them together, and I'm not that great, and it just, whenever you have to do it, it's never going to be as sturdy as it needs to be. So the foot rungs would fall off, they'd start to get wobbly, and I had to order 2 more at one point. Those broke, and I kind of went, you know what, I'm done with trying to do the cheaper version of it. We're just going to go in, and these are, I'll stand real fast. So these chairs are the counter version of the table that we have behind us. And that's our kitchen. Well, that's our table that we don't really ever use except for holidays. But anyway, so Haverty's, Kim. Haverty's is great. City Furniture is huge. I love City Furniture. Rooms to Go is a great place if you have extra like rooms that you need to fill, and it doesn't have to be the most expensive furniture. They've got some good things there. Love those 3. And then,
did you say City?
I said City Furniture.
Okay.
Yeah. Haverty's, City Furniture, and Rooms to Go. And the other nice thing is that a lot of these places, you just tell them when you want to deliver it. Now, obviously, you've got a house now, so they can deliver it whenever. But for people who are like, I need to order this, but I don't know when I'm closing yet, they're really good about that. And then as far as the furniture, Palm Casual is who did all of our outdoor furniture. They're super expensive, but they're there in,
Yes.
they're there in Claremont. But they have like a lifetime warranty on their furniture. They look really heavy, but they're so light because they're that airplane metal. What is it called? Aluminum. It's just, they're just really light, but love them. So that's a great place for outdoor furniture. But in truth, City Furniture has a whole outdoor section as well. So anyway, so there you go, Kim. More questions. Do realtors typically determine how much time they spend with clients based on the price point? Oh,
I love that question.
what a great question. Me? No, absolutely not. It's not like there's a chart where, if their price point is this, then they only get, 1 day. No, I that has never occurred to me. I do know that, that there are people that, when the price point doesn't match where they work, then it might be a little bit more difficult because they're like, I have to travel 3 hours to assist this client because there's nothing really in this area. So maybe that, but that's a really great question. No, I mean, for us, absolutely not. It does not matter. We've sold, tiny townhomes up to multi-million-dollar mansions. And it doesn't mean I have any difference in how I feel about that client. The duty to them is always the same.
And we say this all the time because it happens to be true. And it makes me a little crazy as I'm the person of the team here. When I say team, the
Partnership.
the duo of Eric and Amy. I look at things like how much, commission is being generated by how much time we spend and that kind of stuff, but not for any purpose, not to go, well, we should limit that. But Amy candidly spends more time sometimes with people that aren't even in this area. Because we always say, Amy cares about the people, not the commission. And the reason why that resonates is because it's true. She doesn't actually care about that. So, but there are realtors that do, they look at the dollars. And by the way, some real estate businesses are a business first, and that's okay. But I don't think most people do that.
No,
I
don't think so. I'm going to have a little bit of unconditional positive regard that most people are going to do their due diligence. I mean, we have an ethical duty, like our relationship and our responsibility to our client is what it is. And the price point is, should be irrelevant. Now, that being said, I would not doubt that in these large teams, like a true real estate team concept, that there might not be a person or two, probably a newer agent or two, that kind of gets passed off the lower priced ones. I could see that happening, but I don't really, I mean, I don't really, I hope that doesn't happen. I can see that it could, but I really hope that it doesn't. All right, I think I got all the questions, unless there's some more that popped up. Do you think any more popped up?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Well, I will say, Florida Man, it wasn't a question. He mentioned the thing on the Realtor thing. He said the value in a Realtor he has found is when something goes wrong, which is something we always say too.
That is exactly what we say. Yeah. Well, that's what I always say about, the measure of a builder is how they recover when something goes wrong, because something always does. And then having someone on your side. And I don't know, did I say this last week or did I say it on the Sunday drive, or did I never say it and I'm just losing my mind? So for instance, there's a situation that's happening right now. Great builder, great home, great clients, great everything. Nothing is wrong. It's just a situation where something went wrong. Granite is a natural stone, and you sign a disclosure stating that you understand that granite is a natural stone and that the imperfections are going to be there, and that that you understand that, right? That the piece that you're shown at the design center that's yay big is a sample of a larger piece, a larger slab of it. And so we have a client right now who there's just and it's not an imperfection. It's just, it's like the black and white salt and pepper granite. And then there's a big chunk of black right in the center on the edge of the island. And it is natural, but that's a really bad slab for the kitchen island. Like that could have been fixed. And so, so we're working through that. We've got, really, really, really nice buyers, great sales agent representative of the builder, and the builder I'm hoping is going to help assist and do the right thing and try to figure something out there. But yeah, so that's exactly right. So, having someone there on your side to help assist through the process when things go wrong, is definitely helpful. All right, should we do Zillow?
I think you should get out of here.
I should get out of here? Don't mind if I do what I'm watching?
Do what you're watching.
I'll do what I'm watching and then we'll go out of here. Okay. Okay, full disclosure, I started this last night. I've still been watching Broken Wood, and I did watch, was it called The Cave of Bones? It was like a documentary on Netflix. But I did start watching this last night when I was trying to fall asleep up in the media room so Eric could hopefully get a good night's sleep. And I watched the first 2 episodes and then I fell asleep. So I'm going to have to go back and catch up and find out what happened. And for a person who is not a foodie, and I really don't care about food, in fact, I wish I could go through life not eating. It would just make my life a whole heck of a lot easier. I am still impressed by the amount of time and skill and artistic ability for things that are so short-lived, all of that time invested in that, and then you eat the meal and then it's gone. So I'm always just amazed by all of those types of things. Anyway, so I think that's it. We had a few other things, but it's time for us to get out of here because we have clients in an hour, so we have to scoot. All right. So if you have questions, save them up for next week. If I did not get to say hello to you, then I'm saying hello to you now. As always, thank you guys so much for joining in. Let me find our wrap up. Can you find that one for me, honey? Okay. But at any rate, again, we always appreciate you joining in. Please let us know if there's anything that you need. As always, text us or call us if you have questions. If you're current clients of mine, you already do that. But as always, guys, please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you, and happy house hunting. Bye, guys. Where's the end button?
I'm not sure I have an end button, so.
He doesn't have an end button, so bye.
I don't know. Bye.
Bye.
Hold on. I'll find it.
It's not on there.
It's not on there. Oh, hold on.
There you go.